Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Sunny. Welcome back to episode 17 of my podcast, Sunny's Geeky Grove. Thanks for coming back, and if you're new here, welcome. Thanks for finding me and checking it out. So today we are going to be talking about single-player games versus multiplayer games, the benefits, types of games, some ways to determine what you might prefer, and how to figure out if you might be into a game. But before we jump into that, if you aren't subscribed yet, please do. If you want to hear more of my rambles on nerdy shit, hit that like button if you're super amazing and kind and just want to do it, or don't. The choice is yours. So, what's a single player video game? I'm just kidding. So, I know this is kind of a weird topic, but it's kind of just something that I've been thinking about lately. Single player versus multiplayer games, the differences between them, and how to really understand if you're going to like a game if it has only one of those elements. So, let's start off with single player and get into those benefits. So one of the biggest benefits that I can think of is you don't always need an internet connection. This can be fantastic if you are living in a place where you have spotty internet, if you are, budget challenged, where maybe you can't afford to have internet all the time. Or maybe you are living in a different country, maybe you're deployed, and you typically have internet access, but now you don't. A single player game, most of the time, will not require an always-on connection. You might need it for updates, you might not get achievements if it's on, say, the Xbox, but you will be able to still play the game with, the on-disc content and any updates that you might have had when you did have the internet connection. Another benefit is you can play at your own pace. I know that personally, when I am playing a single-player game, if there are collectibles, whoo boy, I am walking through every inch of that map looking for, trophies or audio diaries, dog tags. It depends on the game, but if there are collectibles, I'm searching for them. I will also bring up walkthroughs if I know that I'm only missing, say, 10%. So that way you can play at your own pace. You can discover the story however you feel comfortable playing. If you are playing kind of an open world, RPG type game, you can do the side quests whenever the heck you want, or you could go straight through the main quest and then do all the side quests afterwards. You don't have to rely on anybody else. Speaking of, you rely solely on yourself when you are playing a single player. You don't have to worry about making sure your teammates are healed or that they're finding the waypoints or anything like that. It just makes it easier for you to enjoy the game at your own pace. You also don't have any toxicity. A lot of communities in the multiplayer games have a lot of toxicity. They have griefers and trolls, people that will purposely sabotage their teammates in order to help the other team win. You also have people that have Smurf accounts. A Smurf account would be say a player has been playing Fortnite since launch and they have, a kill death ratio of 1,000 to 1 and they're just beast mode on Fortnite, and then they decide they want to mess around and, they want to troll people. So they make a new account and they're level 1 and they are just dominating the matches. It makes it so that when you're paired with people, it's unfair. And that's one type of toxic player that you can encounter in a multiplayer game. Another thing that is a very big benefit of single player games is the difficulty choice. So you have the option to raise or lower the difficulty, and you don't have to worry about other teammates, other players. So obviously there are some multiplayer games that have that as an option. You can set the difficulty, load in, find a match within that difficulty. Obviously that's a thing, but with a single player game, it's just, you get to pick, you get to choose, and you have that choice. There are a lot of really popular single player games. Obviously, we gotta go with the OG Tetris, most selling game. That is a title that has recently been taken from it by Minecraft. Minecraft has surpassed Tetris, which is, fantastic in some circles. But Tetris was also given out free or included with some console purchases. So that's how it was one that had the most copies sold. We also have the Witcher series, The Sims, The Last of Us, the Fallout series, excluding 76, the newest one. BioShock series, even though it does have some multiplayer options in Infinite, that doesn't count. Obviously, the main storyline is all single player. Kingdom Hearts series, Dead Space 1 and 2, Red Dead Redemption, Spider-Man for PS4, God of War, all those great games. They're all single player. And for the most part anyway, like I said, and they all have these options of, playing at your own pace, collectibles, difficulty settings, and not needing an always-on internet connection. That is the main draw of these games. And plus they have that beautiful story and the campaign, the story mode, where you get to explore it and learn about the world, be a part of it, and you don't have to rely on somebody else. So conversely, obviously, we have multiplayer. So let's dive into some of the benefits of it. First and foremost, you have teamwork. So within the teamwork, you can complete something that's more difficult with help. So you have other people to help you solve a puzzle or to capture an objective, to complete and find materials, to build things. You have a network of individuals that can actually help you accomplish a goal. So during that, you're also going to have socializing. You're going to be able to interact with other people, and you are going to be able to relate to them, meet people from different cultures, different countries, races, ethnicities, religions, political alignments. You're going to be able to interact with these people, and you can form different coping mechanisms for interacting with those types of people. Obviously, you are not going to get along with everybody in life. That is true of everything, whether it's your job, school, walking down the street, going shopping. You're not going to get along with everybody. And the same thing happens in gaming. The chances are you are going to run into very toxic people that have different views from you, to say the least. And that could be more liberal or conservative than you, if we're going that type of way. And it gives you that opportunity to really interact with them, to be able to disagree in a way that's either healthy and mature or super immature. The choice is yours, and you have that choice as far as interacting in that multiplayer setting, but you are not free from any sort of consequences that come with that, because for all I know right now, you listening to this, you could be the toxic person, and gotta say, why? Don't do that. Don't be mean. Let's have fun and be good to each other. Anyway, also in multiplayer, you have different modes that are available other than just a campaign or story. So let's take, for instance, Call of Duty. Call of Duty series has a campaign and an online multiplayer. So in the campaign, it's just straight through. That's the story. That's it. That's what you do. But in the multiplayer, you could have resistance. No, that's not what it's called. I'm sorry. It's survival. Resistance is just the best map. You can have survival where you get waves of increasing difficulty and amount of enemies coming in and shooting you. Or you can have, chaos where it's like a mini mission and you have to go and you have to complete it in a specific way and learn the tricks of the map, and you can use your allies to be better, to accomplish more in a shorter amount of time. And then obviously you have just the online multiplayer, shoot and kill, you're on a team, try and win. Hopefully someone reaches a 25 kill streak and gets a nuke and ends it, and they're on your team. So those are the different types of modes that you have available. As far as the BioShock Infinite, it was basically the same thing. Obviously, the single player was just the campaign, and then the multiplayer was defeating those waves of the residents of Colombia. So it's just really a different way to play the same game and be in that same world. There are a lot of popular titles that fall into multiplayer. Obviously, like I said, we got Minecraft. Obviously, this can be played alone. So that's why I've mentioned it now twice, because it is possible to 100% never play with another person in Minecraft. Then you have like your Call of Duties, Gears of War, Halos. Those are also single player campaigns. And then they have multiplayer aspects. There's Fortnite and PUBG, and the GTA 5 is like the biggest one that I can think of recently, even though it's like 4 years old. But the GTA games used to be just single player before we really had like this push for, consoles being on the internet and having that connectivity and reaching out and getting that multiplayer base established. But GTA 5 really did step it up, and I saw, an increase of people coming together and playing that game and getting, along and completing missions. And then we have, like League of Legends, which I hear is the absolute most toxic community ever. And don't play it if you are, kind of not okay with toxicity. That's just what I hear. And, I played one match. It was the tutorial against bots. Not my thing. But even the people on my team were freaking toxic. So, hard pass. And then, obviously, we have the OG MMORPG of World of Warcraft. That is your massive online multiplayer game where you create guilds and you complete quests together, and that game is so lonely without a guild. I played about 2 hours by myself, a level 1. I think I got to a level 3, and it was so sad. Nobody talked to me, and it did not have voice in there. I think at the time you had to use like Ventrilo. I don't know. Now, obviously, things have improved. My computer has not, so I could not play that now, I'm sure. But anyway, World of Warcraft. Big player base, big online, multiplayer game. So how do you really determine if a single player or a multiplayer game is right for you? So ultimately, you have to understand of yourself. Do you like people? If you laughed and said, God, no, then maybe multiplayer is not really for you. It is possible that you will lean towards single player games. As you can see from my videos, I've done a lot of single player games. I do love people, but on an individual basis. I do play a lot of online games. I play a lot of Overwatch recently. I've gotten back into that. But otherwise, I mostly go for single player. And if I'm playing a game that has online multiplayer capabilities, I don't really utilize it. I've been playing a lot of State of Decay 2. And, yep, my games are all offline. Because I don't want someone just randomly popping into my game, or, I don't know how that's going to work. Don't matter, because I'm not going to allow it to happen. Next, you need to understand, or not understand, but next you need to know, do you have a mic and the capability to talk? If you are playing a multiplayer game, for the love of God, get a mic. Get a mic. It is so hard to communicate with the in-game emojis or voice lines. Honestly, they don't have enough, and it's just hard. It is 2019. There is no excuse to not have a mic unless, you can't verbally speak, which is understandable. That's common. And you can still enjoy multiplayer games and still do amazing at them and be great. But come on. If you're playing a multiplayer game, you need to have a way of communicating. So whether that's if you're playing on a console, getting a chat pad for your thing and sending a message to your teammates, cool. Type fast. That's fine. But have a mic. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Speaking of text box and chat boxes, are those an option if you are playing on the PC or the Minecraft Better Together? There's a chat box function. I'm sure it exists in a few other games that are either cross-platform or console. I know that PC basically always has that because your keyboard is there anyway. So if it does have a chat box option, do you have a keyboard? If the answer is yes, cool. You're going to do well in a multiplayer game if you use it properly, because communication is important when you are working in a team-based video game towards a goal. If you don't like to type, don't have a keyboard or a chat pad for your Xbox or the PSN Messenger app on your phone, and you don't want to send a message, maybe, get it if you want to play a multiplayer game. And then, are you willing to take on the entire responsibility yourself if the game is single player? If the answer is yes, then, obviously, that's a pretty simple one. A lot of times the single player games, have a story mode. Most recently with the PlayStation games, they have story mode where it's basically easy as pie. You don't take any damage. You don't have to heal or do anything like that. You just experience the story. And then there's easy, normal, hard, nightmare, ultra nightmare. Oh my God, why am I even playing it on this? Whatever. So you have those difficulty options. And also, when you're in a single player game, chances are, if it's not the very first day of a video game being out, within the first few hours even, there's going to be a walkthrough. So if you're playing it at least 5 hours after launch, somebody's already beaten the game and posted their walkthrough because they had it in preview or during press reviews. So chances are you're fine. You'll be fine if you get stuck. And then one last thing you need to ask yourself, are you willing to deal with toxicity? Are you willing to deal with the griefers and the trolls and people that are going to sabotage your team? Because you will encounter those. Maybe not all the time. Maybe not very consistently. You might not get a message at all in the first 6 months of playing the game, and then encounter one game with one person where you got defeated, and then you get a message, oh, hey, you're a real shit, Mercy. It's excuse me, bruh. Back up. I barely ever play her, so stop. If you're willing to deal with that, on the off chance that it might happen, depending on your gaming community, then multiplayer might be for you. If you're not willing to do it, then chances are you're not gonna enjoy the vast majority of your experience in a multiplayer game. But I do want to point out, for any game really, any at all, any that you're seeing, that you're hearing about, watch live streams, watch gameplay videos, or check out reviews, video reviews, to see how the graphics are, what's the story like, what kind of mechanics are they using. And also, if you're watching like a live stream or gameplay videos, chances are you're going to see if the community is toxic already. So you will see any griefing that might be taking place during the game on that live stream or in that gameplay video. And, you know, if it irks you, then you might not want it. So if you are super into a game's trailer even, try to find a trailer that is heavy with actual gameplay and not just cinematic scenes. Gameplay will show you what you as a player will actually experience, and not just a wonderfully rendered and beautifully done cutscene, because those are great. But if that's not the entire game, that's not what you're going to be seeing during your majority of the time with that title. You want to actually know what it'll look like, what it'll feel like, how it plays, what's the story, and most importantly, the graphics and the engine. You need to know how that plays out and if you can handle that. Because the story might sound great, and it might... That's Ward. Hi, Wardy. Yeah. The story might sound great, and it might have some fun tricks and abilities that it can use, but if the gameplay drags, or if those graphics are horrible, you are not going to enjoy your time playing it, and you are going to be upset that you wasted your hard-earned money on it. Probably. At least that's my experience, which is why I really look into a game. I don't even care about gameplay trailers, or I'm sorry, game trailers, unless they have more gameplay than cutscenes, than cinematography. Unless it's a game that I've been hyped for forever, like Diablo 3. I believe the first trailer, I was like, bro, I'm so excited. And it was all cinematic, I'm pretty sure. But basically, like with my experience with Friday the 13th, the game, it sounded great. A horror game based on a really good horror movie franchise with a good killer and a pretty cool asymmetrical style. And so I said, okay, but what are the mechanics like? What's the graphic quality like? So I watched probably about 3 hours of someone's live stream, and it was uncut, unedited. They were live on Twitch, and I was watching them. At first I thought, hey, this is kind of boring. Second game, I was like, oh yeah, it's boring when you die, but the other parts are really cool. And after the 3 hours of watching it, I'm really seeing, like, what are the different options that you can do? Oh, cool, you can kill Jason. That's badass. I decided, yeah, it's worth the $40 to me. I feel like I can get my money out of it. So I went ahead and I bought it. But I didn't buy it based on just a really pretty cinematic trailer that they put out. I didn't even watch a trailer for it. But things like that, like the new Avengers game trailer. I haven't watched it, but there's like one scene of actual game footage. The rest is all like cutscene. So I've heard. So why am I going to watch that? It's not going to be great. And plus, I mean, I've been on Reddit. I've seen screenshots. Yikes. Ultimately, it is up to you and your certain play style and the particular game. If you're someone who's willing to overlook a game having only single player or only multiplayer because of the game itself, then that's your choice. At the end of the day, it's your money, it's your time. Video games are meant to be fun, help you relax, challenge yourself in some particular aspect. I mean, that's not really a hot take. Games are fun. I mean, never let someone dictate how you spend your time or money. Go ahead and pre-order that game you've been hyped for months, or buy the same game on another console. Only you can stop you. Whatever you choose, I do hope you have fun. If you want to hit that like button, I'd love you forever because it helps me a lot. And subscribing is just as badass. But ringing that bell, damn. It sends you notifications and let you know when I upload. Once again, my name is Sunny. You've been awesome, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!